All right, welcome everyone. My name is Patrick Powell, and today I'm going to do a very brief tutorial on how to get set up and start using the OBS video capture software. If you're not familiar with OBS, it is a software designed to capture video and audio and other things. And it's used primarily with things like streaming to Twitch and to YouTube, but you can also use it to just capture audio and video that you can use later for other editing purposes. And so I really like it to obviously like this capture for tutorials, but also for my students that I have them record various projects and walkthroughs and fly-throughs of levels and their game projects, so they don't have to worry about uploading entire projects for school. And so that's what the purpose of this video is very, very brief, how to download, how to get started with the software. And so here you can see on my screen that I am on the OBS website. And so if you go and if you Google search, OBS Studios or OBS software, this should be the top link, but it is the obsproject.com specifically, just to make sure you don't end up anywhere weird trying to download software from third-party stuff, right? Because that's gross. And then this is their website. And so if you just kind of scroll through it, it'll show you the basic outline. It'll say like, hey, look, we partner with all these people. We're legit. We're really good. And they are. There are other softwares that you could also use. Some of them are better for streaming because it's like, oh, I can manage lots of different streams, YouTube and Twitch and whatever else at the same time. But that's not the way that I use it. I use it primarily for just video capture, and then I upload to YouTube and stuff later on. And so here you can see like here's a little bit about like all the cool things that we can do. And I'll go very briefly through this once we get started. But for you guys to get started, you're going to select whatever operating system that you have. Probably Windows, might be Mac, a few of you might do Linux, and then once you click on it, it'll give you a pop-up that's basically the download and where to save this to. And so go ahead, click on whichever operating system you have, save that executable, and then go ahead and go through the installation process. It's a pretty standard installation process. And so I'll let you do that real quick. Pause this video and then come back once you've got actual OBS installed and launched. And so let's see here. Let me pull up. Here we go. This is what you should see once, or something very similar. This is basically what you should see once you have gotten OBS installed and launched. Yours will be slightly different in that you won't have these right here. I have them because I'm using them on my other screen to actually record this screen. But yeah, so let's take a quick gander through what we actually see here with OBS. Here in the middle, this blank screen is our canvas. And so normally, like if I pulled in my other screen, you would actually see more of what I see. But I have everything turned off on this one specifically, and so it's blank. And so anytime I'm capturing video, it would show up here, and it will here in a little bit. I have it disabled right now so that we don't get the mirror of doom that gets super like, whoa, trippy and confusing to look at. Down here in the bottom left-hand scene, we have scenes, and scenes are basically a compilation of different settings that we can have. And so you can add lots of different scenes. And so you can see like, oh, there's nothing in here. And then I can come in and I can go to my sources and say, okay, what sources do I want for this scene? And then I can click back and forth between those two, and it will automatically have those ready to go. And so if you specifically got into streaming, that's a very powerful tool. And it's kind of useful also for just straight up video capture if you really want to get stuff set up. But a lot of the times, me specifically, I'm capturing my video and then I'm editing in something like Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolution Studios or something like that. And so I do a lot of that, the After Effects in a different software. But you can set it up and you can actually do a lot of it here if you would like. So anyways, let's go ahead and do it this way. So next we're going to have our sources. This is going to be what are we actually capturing here? And so some settings here. We have add source, delete source, change the settings for any given source that we have selected. There are none right now. And then move something up and down. And so let's go ahead and click on this and do a very brief look at these. Application audio, if I just wanted to record, say, the game audio, or maybe music from YouTube or something like that, you could do this. This is a new feature, and so you may or may not have this depending on what version you're using. Audio input, this is my microphone, if I just wanted to do my microphone capture. Audio input capture, again, I'm not actually sure the different output capture. Input, I don't know. One is going to be your actual microphone. I think this would be, again, kind of like this in that it's kind of game audio. Browsers, if you just wanted to be able to see what you see on Google Chrome and not be able to see your desktop or any other applications that you're doing, you could do that. Color source, do I like just black screens or whatever, you can do that. Display capture is the one that we're going to do right now. And so this is going to actually, allow me to set up a monitor, a screen that I want to capture. And so I'll go ahead and hit OK. And there we can see, now it gets crazy, right? And so I'll make this big so that we don't see all the different things. Make it a little bit easier to see. There we go. And so now you can just see a little bit less of my picture-in-picture, right? And so here we can change the actual method that we're capturing with. Generally speaking, just leave that on automatic, and then you can choose your display. And so this will get real trippy because if I go between display 1 and display 2, it's kind of almost the same. That's actually a little bit easier. And then if I had display 3, I think it's actually turned off right now, but display 3 would be my third monitor there. And so I think I'll leave it this way. And so that would be that. And so here you can see now, okay. I have this display and it looks really goofy because I'm recording a recording of a recording. And so we'll click this little eyeball and that goes away. And so again, if it was just me, like I could have OBS, I could click record, and then I would get my display. If I only have one monitor, which is I know true for a lot of people, then I could minimize this and it would still capture whatever is behind my display. And so again, if I was recording a game or if I was recording from Unity or Unreal Engine to showcase something for homework, then you would go and you would see that. But if you have multiple displays, you could set up another display. Display number 4. Then sure, I don't know, we'll do 3. Oh, there we go, 3 is active. So now I can see 3, and now I can go back and forth between these, and I can choose which one that I want. And you'll notice that if I turn display 3 on and off, it's not doing anything right now, and that's because these are a hierarchy. And so if 4 is being displayed, it will always display. And so if I turn off that one, now I can see number 3. And so, yeah, lots of cool things there. In my video specifically, again, this is weird because it's a recording of a recording of a recording. You can see me. Hi. And that's because I have actually gone in and I have done a webcam capture. Where's webcam? Video capture device. There we go. So at that video capture device, I can go in there and I can choose, and so I could do my HD. This one might get real trippy now. So now I have that video capture device. I didn't set it up correctly. But that would theoretically, if I went in and actually set it up and chose the right webcam, then you would see another webcam of me pop up right here. And so with any of the different things, you can actually go in and you can click on these and you can resize them. And so if I wanted to have 2 different displays, this one is huge for some reason. Oh, this is going to get trippy. Right? And so now I can change the different things. And so I could have this one display there. Then I could choose this one and have it display there and have all sorts of different things and make it look truly awful. But obviously, depending on what you're actually trying to do, that's what this would actually do. And so again, if this one right here was my webcam, I could have that be nice and small down there in the corner. I have my main display, and now we can do, oh, there we go. Now that's nice and trippy, right? But we have, video 1, video 2, which is all recording video 3. Let's turn all that off because that's really confusing, right? Okay, so that's what all of that does. That's pretty easy and straightforward. Over here in the middle, this is our audio mixer. And so from the audio mixer, you can see as I'm talking, my mic is going green into the yellow, and every now and then it peaks up into that red. That's just the actual feedback that I'm getting from my microphone device, which is right here. I also have desktop audio, which is if I was running a game or if I was, if I had sound effects in Unity or Unreal that I'm recording, that would pop up here. The little blue bar that's right underneath it is actually the volume control, so to speak, for the input of the audio. And so right now it's set at full blast because I'm using a mic that's not used, there's not supposed to be used far away, but it's a little bit farther away. Usually when I'm wearing a headset and I'm doing audio recordings, I'll turn this down to, maybe that. And so you can see it's still pretty good volume, but I probably got a little bit softer, right? And so if I turn this down even more, even though I'm speaking with the same volume, hopefully you're hearing on your side that I'm getting softer and softer and softer and softer, and you can see that. And so when I bring it back up, now I'm getting louder and louder and louder and louder again. And so you can do the same thing here. I usually set this one a little bit less because I want you to be able to hear me over whatever audio is happening in the background. But of course, you can change that on the fly, like I just showed you. Scene transitions is like this. If I was going to go from scene 1 to scene 2 to scene 3, 4, 5, whatever, you can do like a quick little fade. So it's not just like blink, blink, to make it a little bit less jarring when you make those transitions. But finally, over here on the right, these are the controls. And so some major things that we've got streaming. Again, if you were going to live stream to YouTube or to Twitch or whatever, you would have to go in to your settings, set up a few things first, and then I would just click streaming and it would hopefully just go. And now you're online, you're live, ready to rock and roll and do whatever things on Twitch and YouTube that you might want to do. I currently am using the recording button. Again, I have 2 of these open, and so that's why that was a little bit weird just a second ago, and why I have like picture in picture even though all the stuff is turned off. But all you would do is once, again, you set up your settings first, which we'll do in a second, you just click start recording. And then when you're done, you click stop recording. And then it will save all your videos, and then you can use those to edit or to upload to YouTube or whatever it is that you're going to do. There's some other settings in here that you can do, but those are a little bit more advanced. We don't need to look at those right now. So let's look at settings. There we go. So pretty easy. Here on the left, we've got the general settings, and then the actual specific ones are here in the middle. Just getting started, again, if you're just trying to capture some video for a class or to upload to YouTube or something, you don't need to do any crazy editing or anything. This is all probably good to go. Stream, again, that's for live streaming, so we're not going to talk about it specifically, but that's where the settings would be. Output is going to be the specifics for recording and like how you're, taking the video from your microphone, from your screen capture, and then saving it to videos and stuff like that. And so streaming mode, again, kind of beyond what we're looking at, but generally speaking, you can probably leave this stuff as is, at least as you're getting started with it. As you get more advanced, you might be able to play with these numbers a little bit. Like I usually keep mine between 2500 kilobits per second or 5000 if I wanted something a little bit nicer. Same thing with my audio. Bigger numbers means, more data, and so a little bit nicer, better feedback. And so 160, totally fine for most things that you're going to do. I never go above 256, but I guess you could. But remember, with streaming, the higher the quality, the more data you're using, the better internet you need to upload, but it can also affect, streaming on the back end as well. And so, I usually try to keep it as small as I can, depending on the actual things that I'm doing. For recording, which is again what we're focused on, the recording path is going to be really, really, really important. And so you can see for me, I am saving all my stuff to my Blend course because this video specifically is for my Blend students. Of course, if you're using it and you're not my Blend students, hello. But yeah, and so make sure you know where these videos are actually going because again, you don't want to have a whole bunch of video files just floating around on your computer. For the video quality, I think by default it's same as stream, and so it's going to be taking this information, which again, depending if you're recording on multiple different computers and stuff like that, that can technically vary depending on your screen resolutions of any given computer. And so I usually like to use high quality but medium file size. It's kind of the best of both worlds. It's good high quality. It's going to be 1080p plus, but it's not going to be huge file sizes, especially if we have to upload these videos to a school thing like Blackboard or eCampus, or something like that, or even if it's going to be YouTube, the smallest file size that we can get away with is better, just to make sure that everything is easy to upload and download and stuff like that. The recording formats, there's quite a few different ones. I think it defaults to MKV. And so if you're looking at yours and you say MKV or FLV, both of those are video formats that lend themselves well to streaming specifically. And so, again, if you're going to do stuff on Twitch and also YouTube, those are potentially good options. I prefer MP4 because, again, I like to capture all my video and then play with it and then upload it later. And MP4 specifically plays better with more video editing softwares. And so Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe After Effects, DaVinci, what is it? DaVinci Resolve 19, I think, is the current version, and stuff like that. Will play a little bit better with MP4. Really, in that regard, the biggest difference between MKV and MP4 is that MKV and FLV, if your stream gets interrupted for some reason, any video that you've already captured is already saved. It encodes on the fly. MP4, it waits until you finish the video and then it will finish encoding. And so if you got interrupted while you're filming MP4, power goes out or something like that, it would corrupt the file more times than not. And so that's one thing to keep in mind. But MP4 has more audio channels and stuff like that available to it. And so you can get a better, higher quality video and audio out of MP4 than FLV and MKV technically. Again, for what most of us are probably going to be using it for, may or may not matter. And so that can be something that you can do some quick Googles to figure out, what you're going to be doing there. But yeah, I like MP4 specifically, but you don't necessarily have to, depending on if you need to edit things and what other softwares might require you to upload with. And so again, if you're using something like Blackboard or eCampus, they might not like FLV. Like, it might not let you do that upload kind of a thing. But almost everything will do MP4 because it is the standard right now. So anyways, there's that. You can get in here and you can look at specifics for audio and video. Generally speaking, you don't need to change anything. Again, you can change this a little bit, and there's a time and a place that you could change between those, but I would just say leave it at the 48 kilohertz for audio sampling. Channels, I usually leave it in stereo just because most of the people that we're doing stuff for, it's going to be in stereo. But you can set it up to different surround sounds if you really, really want to. So 2.1, 4.0, 5.1, 7.1, like the crazy surround sounds, which again, depending, I guess, on the type of project and who's going to be listening, you might want to set it to one of those things. Here you can set up, like, if you have multiple different audio capture devices, you can go in here and specifically say that. I usually record with like 2 audio sources max, and so I just use the desktop defaults. But again, I could go in here and I could say specifically, like, I want this one to be my headset. I want this one to be my microphone. I want this one to be my webcam, whatever, right? And so that's a little bit more advanced features. Same thing here with audio, is you can go in and you can change it to several different base resolutions, but I usually just use my output stuff here, so that basically whatever I have here is what I'm actually going to be getting. And again, I always try to shoot for the lowest that I can get away with, 1080p, 1920 by 1080 being the lowest that I would go. Just because after that it gets really grainy, which you can kind of probably see that on my my picture-in-picture there, because my webcam is not super fantastic. And so you can probably see it's a little bit pixely and blurry relative to the rest of my screen. And so that's just kind of what's going on there. But if you really wanted to, you could crank that up to 4K. Just know that if you do something like crank it up to 4K, that your file sizes will get dramatically larger. And so again, that'll make using editing software take longer to compile. It'll take longer to upload to YouTube and stuff like that. And then remember, YouTube and Twitch and all the streaming devices, they downsample. And so even if you film in 4K, they're not streaming necessarily in 4K to the users. There's options that you could do that, but 4K in YouTube specifically is not actually full 4K kind of a thing. And so, anyways, that is all that you need to get set up. And so once you've got that, again, if I came over here and I turned on one of these displays, we'll turn on display 3. Whoop, there we go. That's nice and confusing. Let's turn on that one. There we go. I can set this, and now, boom, there's my other display. And so if I was going to be, working in Unity, and I had Unity pulled up, now anything that happens in Unity, you can see here. So anyways, that video was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, but it was a nice quick introduction to how to get set up and started with just video capture. Again, there's a lot of settings that I went over, or I skipped over. And so like, again, in here, if you want to do all sorts of crazy things, you can play with that, or maybe I'll make a long video later that showcases how to do this specifically. But as far as just being able to capture video so that you can be like working on projects, do a video fly through, that's how you get started and set up. So hopefully that was helpful. Again, that was a little bit longer than I intended. Maybe one day I'll get around to doing like a 5-minute video. Here's how to do this in 5 minutes. But anyways, that should get you set up and started. And so if you ever have any questions, you can reach out to me. Leave me comments in the video if you would like me to focus in on specific tools or anything like that as far as these little mini tutorials go. But otherwise, I hope you all have a great rest of your day and good luck with your video captures. Bye.